Hey YouTube homies, it's your boy. We're back with another video. This is episode 2 of your favorite anime. This anime, which you can probably tell from the thumbnail, is Vivy's Flourite I song. It's a mouthful of a name, so from here on out I'm just gonna call it Vivys because that's just way easier. And I want to reiterate, I started this series, your favorite anime, because I know the feeling of recommending someone a really good, solid anime that I know they're gonna like, but then they just never watch. And this is one of the perfect examples where someone was telling me to watch something, and then I was that person, I didn't watch it, I'm gonna be honest. Vivys came out in like 2020, 2021, one of those years. And I remember people talking about how good it was, but I personally just have never watched it. They said it had like really good animation, really good fight choreography. One thing that I didn't really hear was that it had a really good story. And I'm someone who values 1, good storytelling, and 2, good characters above anything else. I think as long as you have those 2, you're pretty much set and your anime is gonna be good no matter what. Now, obviously, like, animation can definitely like make or break an anime. I know there's some animes out there that because they're strictly 3D animation, some people just kind of write off, even if they conceptually and objectively are good. But when I heard about Vivys, that's kind of everything people were telling me. Super good animation. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. It's really hype. It has a funny premise, but I never really like heard the story side of it. But for those of you who don't know, Vivy's Flourite I song, or Vivys, is essentially about an AI that gets sent back in time to recruit this other AI in order to stop a post-apocalyptic event in the future where AI essentially take over the world and start, unaliving humans everywhere. And so this program recruits what is essentially like a Vocaloid AI. And the other part of it is in this world, AI take like human form. They pretty much act, sound, and talk like humans. The only real identifier is that they have like this little mark on their neck. And then the whole point of these AIs is in order to sort of prevent them from kind of doing anything else, they are given a sole mission that they must carry out, which I'm assuming has to do with like the whole thing about, not giving them full free will, so to speak. So the scientist sends back an AI program back in time. This AI program is called Matsumoto, and this AI recruits a songstress AI called Diva, or Vivys, which is her like nickname that she gets from a friend. So with the help of this songstress AI, Vivys and Matsumoto are going to pretty much try to stop key events that happen within the 100 years that lead up to this post-apocalyptic world war thing, in hopes that they can stop the AI uprising. Now, it's a pretty simple premise, but that's kind of what I like about it. It is just a 1 season only anime. I doubt there's ever going to be a 2nd season. It is a very complete story that is told within 13 episodes. And the conclusion that I came up with is pretty much, yeah, this anime is severely underrated, which is actually what the commenter who recommended this anime said. And it really is just super underrated. I think people are highlighting the wrong things about this anime. Don't get me wrong, the fight choreography is probably some of the best I've ever seen. It does what I like in terms of fight choreography animation, where it gives you sort of a wide angle shot and sort of shows you those fight patterns. I've kind of gotten used to like these very quick cut, close up fight scenes. Now, this happens a lot less in anime, but in typical average animated animes, that's usually what they kind of default to because it's easier to do. It's not as hard. So I really appreciate it when an anime does like full on, 2 bodies are fully shown. The choreography is boom, bop, boom, they're just going at it, On top of that, they also do this really weird thing, but which I think they do to sort of highlight emotion, especially in Vivy's face, because Vivy isn't AI, but she is a very human AI. And so there's often times where she feels certain things and it sort of turns into like a pastel painting kind of. And it really like emphasizes her eyes and her like facial features and really just zones in on what her like emotions are, and you're just like, yeah, this AI is feeling some stuff, The animation isn't like 100% all the time, which you shouldn't really expect from any anime in general. I think where they choose the animation to really excel in is very smart. You primarily see like the best animation in the fight scenes, but not only the fight scenes, you also see them in sort of the musical numbers, because this is a sci-fi AI World War type anime, but it's also an idol anime. So they have emphasis on the whole singing aspect, which in my opinion really adds to it, because Vivy's mission is she needs to make people happy through her singing. So that's sort of the whole reason why she adopts this mission to prevent this war that happens in the future, because if there are no humans for her to make happy with her songs, then she doesn't really have anything to live for. Which leads me to the characters. So there's two main characters with like a bunch of reoccurring characters throughout. The main characters are obviously Vivy and Masamoto. Masamoto is sort of this like fast-speaking, witty, kind of a asshole-ish AI that's cracking a joke every time he can get. And Vivy, when we first meet her, she's very reserved. She's very shy. She really just trying to live for her mission. She's not someone who's going to really take the reins or leads on things. She's really just focused on her mission, which is to just make people happy through her songs. But at the core of it, she really is trying to make, in general, anybody happy. Throughout the anime, it's kind of hinted that AIs do feel like a level of sympathy. They do have some kind of autonomy in their emotions. However, because of their sole mission, they never really deviate from doing anything other than what would be that mission. Now, Vivy's a little bit different, where she will kind of depart from her mission if it means it will better align with her mission of making people happy. Vivy and Masamoto are constantly like butting heads, which is a fun dynamic. I'm really glad. They really like foil each other very well. They bounce off each other. They have good chemistry. And throughout, we generally meet like these other characters. There is sort of a main bad guy, so to speak. Because in this world, not everyone's happy with AI. Some of them do actually think it's going to bring like the downfall of humans, which, you know, they were right. But the way they want to get rid of AIs is very extremist. And so Vivy and Masamoto are constantly conflicting with this other organization called Toke. I think the cool part, which we'll get to the story now, is that I'm really glad that there was a number of events that happened throughout the 100 years, which is what they need to fix. I was kind of worried that it was just going to be like one thing that happens in this particular time period, then the whole story was going to revolve around them solving that one conflict. Because it's like multiple little events that happen throughout history, it was really cool seeing the story progress. Because remember, this anime starts 100 years in the future and then they go 100 years back. So when they start at this beginning point, there's 100 years that have to pass before they get to that eventual dystopian apocalyptic future. So it's really cool. Like, you'll see the first event and then 5 years pass and you see the second event, and then another odd amount of time passes, then you see the third event and stuff like that. I think really helps with the pacing of the anime. There was never a point where I was like, this is going too fast, nor did I ever feel like it's going too slow. It really felt like every time an event happened, it did not overstay its welcome. It was paced really well, and we saw everything we needed to see and essentially get the message, because every kind of mission has a little bit of a message, right? And to me, that was executed super well. It's really interesting to see Vivy's progression too, because she does change over time, and at a certain point she changes a lot. And then I was kind of worried where the story was gonna sort of end, because I'm going to go into a bit of spoilers, so if you don't want to hear like any spoilers at all, I'm going to try to keep it as vague as possible. But if you really just want to go into this anime blind without knowing tons of things, go to this timestamp. Otherwise, yeah, you can stay and listen. I was really worried because, like I mentioned, there's a villain that is in the background that's sort of trying to constantly stop Vivy and Masamoto's mission. Evidently, Toke, which is the organization that's trying to stop them, is essentially trying to stop them from stopping a future that they also fear. And obviously, at a certain point, Vivy and Masamoto complete all the missions, right? They effectively, or at least theoretically, this AI uprising should no longer happen. So when it got to that point, I'm just like, wait a second, there's still like 3 episodes left. What else could they do? I really hope they don't do like a random, oh, this is the real enemy the whole time, which they kind of do, which they do it in a way where I personally think this is the right way to do it. Because the real bad guy was hinted at throughout the entire thing. And you really only see it at the very end when it's sort of like the reveal happens, which is so effective. Like, I honestly didn't really see it coming. Generally, I can kind of predict these things, but I really didn't see this one. And so when it gets to that final little arc where everything goes down, it's really like the climax, everything's about to just happen. It just made it that much more fulfilling and rewarding, especially with the way it ends. It is rather sad and kind of bittersweet. Like, this was an anime that I didn't really think was going to affect me in a way that it actually did. I thought I was going to be like, oh man, that was a really cool anime. And then at the end of it, I was just like, damn, like what is even my purpose of living? What do I do? How do I exist? Why do I exist? Why do I even live? And I think it has to sort of do with all the building up of the story. What the story does right is sort of hit you with like a multiple little messages, with like the singular message being essentially, and this is something that they say in the anime, it's not really spoilers, it's just sort of like a quote that they say. I'm paraphrasing, but it's essentially like, it doesn't matter how long I live, or it doesn't matter how long you live, it's how you live. Vivy's story does a really good job of trying to hammer home that message, along with the message of like, what does it mean to fully put your heart into something? And so I think it's kind of silly that Vivys was praised on solely like on animation and fight choreography, because I feel like the story is really strong, and maybe people were praising it afterwards, after it was completely finished. But to me, the characters, the story, everything was just super well done, and it is incredibly underrated. I feel like this is one of like the better animes of like the past 5 years, now that I've seen it. This is kind of random. All the talk of like AI nowadays, like AI this, AI that, fucking AI these nuts. No, but in all honesty, it just kind of thought to me like, damn, maybe AI isn't really like something we need. Just, we can do without it. And so I think now more than ever, I think it's a really good time to sort of get into this anime. It's completed, it's good, it's really short. I was able to pretty much finish it within a day, and it's just all around super solid. It's really good. And although it wasn't that commenter's favorite anime, I do think like if this was someone's favorite anime, I wouldn't doubt it, because it's just that good. So if you are looking for like a visually and narratively interesting anime to watch, it's kind of a slow season right now. But if you are looking for something that you can pretty much kind of finish up, maybe you're waiting for something in the spring season, I would definitely recommend Vivys. It pretty much has like all the things that I consider good, like my 5 pillars of a good anime. It has them all. And in fact, just watch it right now. Why not? Please do me a solid and just watch it. So I want to thank that commenter once again for recommending it to me, because I probably wouldn't have watched it had I not made this deal to just watch animes that people recommended me through these comment sections. I don't know what the next one's gonna be, but I'll pretty much post it when I get to it. Until then, that's pretty much it from me. Like, comment, subscribe if you want. I don't know, I can't tell you what to do, honestly, but I super appreciate it if you do. And that's pretty much it. Peace.